Today I'm going to talk about abortion, particularly the question, is a developing embryo or fetus in the human species a human organism? Almost speaks for itself. In the human species, would it be a human organism? Many people say that a fetus or an embryo isn't a human, that it's just a fetus, just an embryo. I don't agree with that, and I'm going to explain why I don't agree with that. First, I want to go over a couple of terms with you. I'm using Merriam-Webster dictionary, the online dictionary. First definition, zygote. It reads, a cell formed by the union of two gametes, the developing individual produced from such a cell. The developing individual produced from such a cell. So it's an individual organism or individual being, right? Many pro-abortion or pro-choice people say that it's my body, it's my choice, right? But that's technically not true, because the developing organism, the developing zygote inside the woman is its own individual human organism. It's not, it's in her body, but it's not part of her body. It has its own set of chromosomes, its own DNA. It's going to develop its own heart, own set of lungs, its own liver, own brain. Next definition, embryo. A vertebrate at any stage of development prior to birth or hatching. An animal in the early stages of growth and differentiation that are characterized by cleavage, the laying down of fundamental tissues, and the formation of primitive organs and organ systems, especially the developing human individual from the time of implantation to the end of the 8th week after conception. Again, especially the developing human individual from the time of implantation to the end of the 8th week after conception. So once that zygote attaches to the uterine wall and starts to develop furthermore, but it's still in the earlier stages of development, right? But it's a human individual. It's its own human organism, a human individual. This is from Webster's Medical Online Dictionary. This is not my opinion. This is fact. Next stage, everybody knows the stage, the fetus. Many people say, it's just a fetus, it's not a baby. Let's read the definition of a fetus. An unborn or unhatched vertebrate, especially after attaining the basic structural plan of its kind, a developing human from usually 2 months after conception to birth. So it's the later stages of the development inside of the uterus. Right? So again, a developing human. So it's a human. It's not just a fetus, but a human. Now I want to give you a little add-on to that. In common English, common language, common parlance, you have a noun and a noun. You have an adjective, and the adjective modifies the noun, right? So if you have a blue car, for instance, right? To be a blue car, it has to be both blue and both a car. That it changes the substance of a car. It's no longer just a car, but a blue car, right? Now, if you take that and look at animals, say for example a cat, right? Say a cat's pregnant, and the cat has maybe 5 or 6 embryos inside of it, right? Now, are those just embryos? Are those chicken embryos? Are they lizard embryos? Are they elephant embryos? No, they're cat embryos. Therefore, the adjective modifies the noun, right? So the very substance of what the noun is changed. It's no longer just an embryo, but a cat embryo. Understand? So to be a cat embryo, it has to be both a cat and an embryo. Same thing happens with a human. To be a human embryo, right, in the human species, you have to be both a human and an embryo, right? So that would, naturally be a human embryo. So it's a human there, all right? Another thing I wanted to talk about is basically logic. If I was aborted, or you were aborted, when you were in the fetal stage or the zygote stage or later the embryonic stage, right? You wouldn't exist right now. I wouldn't have these hands to type. I wouldn't be able to talk to you right now, right? So it's just common sense. If I was terminated at any of those stages in my human development, I wouldn't exist right now. Just a little story I like to bring up. One time I worked in this company, and this woman who was pro-choice, she had got pregnant, but she wanted to get pregnant. Her and her husband planned to have a child, right? So she knew she was pregnant. This is about maybe like a month into her pregnancy. Well, she wasn't even showing. All the people in the job, many of them were very liberal, very pro-choice. They were like, "Oh, the baby," rubbing her stomach and everything like that. "Oh, what are you gonna name her?" Already they deemed the baby as a girl already. But what are you gonna name her? I can't believe the baby, right? But meanwhile, the same people, right? If this pregnancy was unplanned or unwanted, it ceases to be a baby. It's just a fetus. And the woman could be 7 or 8 months. She could be showing, and even less than that, you know. And they say, no, it's just a fetus. It's not a baby. Just because a woman wants or doesn't want a child doesn't change the substance or the essence of what that child is. Doesn't, you know, it's a human and then it goes down to just a fetus and it's no longer a human anymore. That doesn't make any sense. Whether you want it or not doesn't change, you know, the truth of what that developing human is. Okay, that's basically it for now. I'm going to have a couple more abortion videos up, different questions, different topics. I hope that was informative, and I hope you you know, enjoyed it. Until then, have a nice night.